DFA Online. News and events from different Philippine embassies and consulates around the world. DFA Online. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day, I am Win Peñano with today's DFA Online. All Filipinos traveling to and within Pakistan were told to exercise caution and avoid areas near the India-Pakistan border as New Delhi mounts a missile attack in several Pakistani-administered areas in Kashmir on Wednesday. In an advisory, the Philippine Embassy in Islamabad urged Filipinos not to travel to Bimber City, Azad Kashmir, the Sialkot line of control, and anywhere within 5 miles of the India-Pakistan border. Filipinos residing in these areas are also advised to be vigilant and avoid the border zones and public gathering sites. The embassy likewise reminded Filipinos to remain indoors, monitor official announcements from local authorities, maintain regular contact with employers and community coordinators, as well as to prepare for emergency in case of evacuation. Philippines Foreign Affairs spokesperson Maria Teresita Daza said there are around 30 Filipinos, mostly wives or families of Pakistani nationals, residing in Sialkot, situated some 20 kilometers from the Jammu border. There are 3,151 Filipinos in Pakistan and an estimated 3,350 in India. According to Daza, no Filipino was reported affected or hurt by the strikes. India said it launched the airstrikes called Operation Sindur in response to the terror attack that killed 26 in the Indian-administered town of Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir last April 22. The Indian Ministry of Defense confirmed that it targeted 9 sites and hit terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. It said its airstrikes were focused, measured, and non-escalatory in nature and that no Pakistani military facilities were struck.
DFA Online. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
In related news, the Philippine government through the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA has called for a peaceful resolution of issues in Kashmir as tensions escalate between India and Pakistan after New Delhi launched a missile strike on Pakistan-administered areas in the region. In a statement, DFA spokesperson Maria Teresita Daza said the department is closely monitoring the situation between India and Pakistan and called for a peaceful resolution to the current issues. India's airstrikes targeted 9 locations in Pakistan in response to the terror attack in the Indian-administered town of Pahalgam in Kashmir last April 22. New Delhi has earlier accused Islamabad of supporting the perpetrators behind the Kashmir massacre that killed 26. The United Nations on Wednesday described the tensions between the two South Asian neighbors as the highest in years and called for military restraint. Pakistan's Prime Minister Muhammad Shehbaz Sharif had earlier described India's military operations as an act of war and warned of retaliation.
DFA Online. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
More news from the DFA. The Philippine government has renewed its call for the total elimination of nuclear weapons, urging all states to set aside narrow interests and back global disarmament. The call was made during the general debate of the third session of the Preparatory Committee for the 2026 Review Conference of the Parties to the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, or NPT, on April 28 in New York City. The Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs said Manila is committed to the goals of the NPT in preventing the spread of nuclear weapons while at the same time promoting cooperation in the peaceful uses of nuclear energy. DFA Undersecretary Charles José delivered the Philippine statement at the general debate and emphasized the urgency of a time-bound, phased, and verifiable program for the total elimination of nuclear weapons and the provision of legally binding security assurances to non-nuclear weapon states. The official, speaking on behalf of the Non-Proliferation Disarmament Initiative or NPDI, also expressed concern over the reported increase of nuclear warheads worldwide. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. recently reaffirmed the Philippines' opposition to the proliferation of nuclear weapons, aligning national policy with international commitments. The DFA said the government continues to emphasize the importance of multilateral cooperation, dialogue, and legally binding instruments to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons. The third NPT PrepCom is the final session before the 2026 review conference, where states parties to the treaty assess the NPT implementation. The session runs from April 28 to May 9.
DFA Online. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
And that wraps up today's edition of DFA Online. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, I am Win Peñano. Good day.
DFA Online. News and events from different Philippine embassies and consulates around the world. DFA Online. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.